Good evening. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. Manchester United have made Erling Haaland their #1 priority signing this summer. They have briefed the mainstream media. They've also informed them that there will be no attempt or no priority attempt to try and sign Jadon Sancho. They believe they are very happy with the purchases of Pellistri, who hasn't kicked a ball in the first team, and Amad, who of course has scored but has had limited time. It seems Man United's hierarchy are happy with them two young men to take the right-hand side of the attack forward and put all their eggs into one basket of trying to sign Haaland, but something seems a little off and maybe just a little bit fishy to me in relation to this news. But look, I want your views. I want your opinions on this. I want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're saying in relation to it. Should Man United be focusing all their attention on Haaland? Do you even think we are? Could this just be a ruse? Could this just be Glazeronomics to say, you know what? We've got Pellistri and Amad. Let's not bother with Jadon Sancho. But so no one gets angry, let's pretend we're going all out to sign Haaland, although we never really will submit a bid. And then we can just act and say, oh, we lost out because agent fees were too high, the transfer fee was extortionate, and we weren't going to be held over a barrel. Is that going to be the outcome of this for Manchester United? We want your thoughts. We want your opinions. We're going to open up the lines for you to come on and have your say. Glaze It Out here says, I don't believe it. I hear you, but what don't you believe? I want to understand specifically what it is about this story that you're not believing at this time. People saying he's not coming. I agree with you. I agree. I think, like genuinely, I think this is a ploy. This is a ploy to spend little money, but to make us think they're trying to spend money. Do you get what I mean? They know they're going to be outbid. A lot of guys used to do, I watched a program about this in the States, right? A lot of guys do this to clinch like women, to make them feel like they're rich. They take them to like these big open houses on these properties that they can't ever afford. And they put bids in, and they go to auctions and put bids in. But they kind of, they know they're never actually going to win the race. So they're never actually going to pay out for it, but they do it to look like they're balling. That's what Man United are doing. We are finessing the fans here as far as I can see. We've got Neeks, we've got Johnny, we've got Elite KJ backstage. They'll be coming on in just a few moments, and we will be opening up the lines. I do need to say as well, I know there's been a lot of arguments recently about who the best player in the Premier League is. Is it Harry Kane? Is it Bruno Fernandes? Is it KDB? Is it Raheem Sterling? A lot of names go into the hat, and there's probably multiple. But I think tonight we know who the best player in the Premier League is. It is Jesse Lingard. I just wish Man United had a player like him. I just wish we had a player like him and a manager like David Moyes, because then our future would have been very, very different indeed. There's no doubt. I nearly said that without laughing. It's amazing. It's actually brilliant for the Ollie outers that Lingard's killing it and David Moyes is killing it, because it's going to make them, honestly, it's just going to tickle and pink. It really, really is. And by the way, I saw the best tweet ever today. Yes, I didn't steal it. I gave the guy credit. We all heard about Ollie having a fan come up to his window and knock on his window, and it was an autograph hunter, but everyone panicked and got a little bit scared. And someone tweeted this. They said, this is what Ollie saw at his window. And honestly, when I saw this, I belly laughed for about 5 minutes. This is what Ollie saw out of his car window. He's man like Johnny. I could just imagine Johnny doing it. I could just imagine Johnny going up to him and giving him what for. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But let's bring the panel on. Do me that favor and hit that like and that share button right about now, people. Let's do this. How are we all? Evening.
Boy, that tweet is gold. That tweet is gold. When I saw that, I just burst out laughing.
I woke up to that and I'm like, "Tell you, little bastard."
I didn't make the original tweet. I just shared it to give credit. But you know what, mate? With all the crap you've had today, and the Terrace has had today for putting out your opinion, I just thought it was a bit nice and lighthearted and everything else. But you know what? As we say, we're here to give all voices and opinion, whether people agree with it, like it or not. But the big news tonight, gents, is that we're prioritizing Haaland. Haaland is the go-to guy. KJ, you're shaking your head. What are you thinking, bro?
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We know we're not getting Haaland. We know this. They know. They've held meetings with him. Ollie speaks to him on the phone and all that nonsense. Bro, it's ridiculous. We know we're not going to get Haaland. So to try so hard to get him and fail and then be like, oh, we didn't get another player because we was trying so hard to get Haaland for you, fam. No, get that out of my face, fam. I know what you're doing. This is just stupidity at its finest. Man United doing what they do best. I have still yet to see any evidence that this PR, that this new structure is going to lead to anything. Because this is just normal Man United business, and I'm sick of it. You go after Jadon Sancho while everyone's while everyone's going after Haaland, got the eyes distracted by the main prize. Go in the back door, take Sancho while no one's looking because everyone's focused on Haaland right now. Do that. You have a chance to have a free run again. That normally doesn't happen in football. A second free run at a player like Sancho, and you're going to give it up in the first place. Ridiculous.
I hear you on that. There's a lot of people in the comments saying it's a smoke screen and a PR stunt. If it is a smoke screen, Neeks, is it a smoke screen to land Sancho, or is it a smoke screen to spend no money?
It bloody well better be a smoke screen to land Sancho. Because imagine that, yeah, we're gonna get Haaland, yeah, and we get Isak from Sociedad. Like, if you're gonna get Isak,
I just would be happy.
Just get Isak from Sociedad. No one ain't chasing you down for him. Like, it has to. Listen, if we blow our budget, and I say blow, you're not gonna lose 150 million when you get Haaland. He's a quality player, but our future does not depend on us getting Haaland or not. And I'll tell you why. Only one team can get Haaland. And unless you're saying that one team's going to win every trophy every season for the rest of their time, then having or not having Haaland, it puts you in the same position as every other team in the world, bar the one team that doesn't have Haaland. We need to go out and focus on the positions that are the most important. And as far as I'm concerned, the goal scoring, the striker, getting someone who's going to score individually 30 goals a season is not the be-all and end-all for Manchester United. It's not the difference between us winning the league and not winning and coming second. It's really not. We've got other issues that need to be sorted out, and our whole transfer budget is going to have to go on Haaland if he is our main target, and we go and get him, which is two big ifs. Because even if he is, it don't mean we're going to get him. Does that mean we drag until we actually lose him, and then we call up Sancho, do you want to come? He's like, I've been waiting here for 2 months for a call. I'm done. I can't be bothered anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to be smart about this. We need to be smart.
No, I agree, and with a lot of what you said there. And I think for me, just at the back of my mind, what's irking me, frustrating me, and annoying me is the fact that I think what we're going to do is finesse the fans again. I think it's going to be Arsenal are absolute legends in many ways in terms of doing this. Every year it was like linking with certain players at the right times. Fan would renew their season tickets and the deals would seldom come through. I think we've got such a slim chance of landing Haaland. It is unbelievable. We have a bad relationship with his agent, first and foremost. It looks, I know they're trying to deny it and say there's fake rumors, but they want huge amounts of money in terms of agent fees. It's more expensive than Jadon Sancho in the first place. And we weren't prepared to pay for Jadon Sancho a year ago. So why suddenly are we going to be prepared to pay an extra 20, 30, 40 million pound for Haaland? I can't see it working. I can't see it coming into play. But at the same time, it's the kind of, I wouldn't put it past the way we run as a club to say, do you know what? Let's just put faith for the next couple of years in Pellistri and Amad, which in itself is disrespectful because it's going to apply so much pressure on these young lads to deliver, because you as the club are telling us they are good enough to fill the void left by Cristiano Ronaldo in 2009. We've been waiting for a replacement in that position now for 11 damn years. If they pull away from Sancho, if they sign Haaland, if they do land Haaland, for me, it isn't my personal priority, but I can get over it and say, okay, you've signed Haaland, at least you've gone and spent some money. We don't bring in a star this summer to help elevate us forward. It's a disgrace. Johnny, what's your thoughts on these two simultaneous rumours? Haaland's the number one priority, and we are not going to go for Sancho this summer.
I think it's about as real as Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. That's about as real as it is. There's only 3 clubs I see Haaland going to: Chelsea, City, or Real Madrid. They're the big spenders. We all know that. We are not the big spenders anymore. We're not what we used to be. And to add to that, I'd be quite annoyed if we got Haaland, because I'd rather get a centre-back, a CDM and a right winger. I think they're more priority. If I take my Ollie out off for a second and just look at it from a neutral perspective, I think if Ollie's got any chance next year to do anything of substance, I think that's more of a priority for him. I think we would all agree we don't really create enough chances for a striker like Haaland. Whether you get Lukaku, Haaland, any other prolific striker, I think they're going to struggle because we just don't create enough chances. And I think Haaland would see that, but I just don't think Man United are not going to put that kind of money up. I don't see it. And like I said, I think the smarter thing to do would be to get the other signings. I also don't think they're intelligent enough to throw a red herring out there to say, I don't think they've got that.
That's the thing. I don't believe they're doing it as a.
No.
It's not that clued up.
I actually fear, and again, it's I'm not. It sounds so silly saying it, because if you get Haaland, it's not a bad signing to get at Haaland. Whoever's getting, but I fear that we will go all out to get Haaland, and let's say we do get him. I would applaud the sign. I'll be so happy. But that'll be it. That'll be it. We get one striker, and then we get nobody else. And next season, we're still going to finish second. We may win a little league cup or FA Cup.
Imagine it.
What we do, Champions League football.
Does leave. Let's just say, let's go with the scenario that Pogba leaves. Right? We all know they're not fast at doing deals at United. They're not. They're slow as hell. That will take most of the summer to get him out, right? Because they want they'll squeeze every last bit of money out of Pogba before they say, okay, go. So Pogba goes. We don't get an adequate replacement. And let's just say by some miracle we sign Haaland. But Haaland's going to have Bruno behind him, which is good, but then he's got McFred behind him all season. And I'm telling you now, there's such a disconnect, it will not work.
Sorry,
go on, bro.
It's just stupid. Like the thing is, there's so many other moves that you can make. Haaland, number one target. You know, Man United are not good in transfer races. We've seen it many years in a row where when there's neck and neck with another team, unless the other team says, "Nah, I'm not paying the money," we lose. We will lose out. So it's easier. Like literally, we lose one horse races. John is right. There's more moves you can make. You can go, and people won't like it, but you can go sign a Sancho while everyone's trying to chase Haaland. You need a striker because Cavani's leaving. Danny Ings on a free for a couple of years. He's a good striker. Go get a DM, Jesse Lingard for Rice, and some money there. There are things that United can be doing, but they're not going to do that.
It gives me this feeling. We're going to open up the lines very soon for you, the viewers, to come on and have your say, because, of course, that's very, very important to us. But what stands out to me is everybody knew that the Haaland situation was going to kick off this summer because of when his buyout clause starts. So if Haaland was always part of our overall plan as a football club, you should have landed Jadon Sancho last year like you wanted to. Because if we did land Jadon Sancho, would we have the money to sign Haaland? And if Haaland was the number one priority, why were we chasing Jadon Sancho last year? Are we considerably going to sign two £100+ million players 2 years running? Even with the cash we spend, we ain't done that before without selling somebody big in the process. So there's just something about it that just seems off. And I can't get out of my head the one thing, what Moyes and LVG have both said about this club. Too many of the players that we try to sign because of the commerciality behind them, as well as, look, Haaland's a top-class player, but he is coming with bags of commercial potential due to what's going to be growing forward. But viewers, we want what your views and opinions. One, the Man United have a chance of signing Haaland, yes or no? Two, do you think we're actually going to try, or is it just to appease the fans, just so Gary Lineker can say, well, they tried to get off the owner's backs. They tried to. Is it one of those things there? And what's your thoughts on Man United putting all this pressure on Pellistri and Amad, saying they can fill the void needed They can be the players to come in and balance that right-hand side. They played about 150 minutes between them and their kids, and that's what's being said right here.
But
We've got
Terry,
go on, mate, go on.
I was going to say, in terms of the Amad and Pellistri, one of them's been loaned out immediately. So we already know within the club that he ain't good enough right now. Amad is barely playing. So what are we going to base next season him being the man to take the right wing if he ain't getting game after game this season to prove that he can be that man? There's nothing to go on. There's literally nothing to go on.
Has he even started a game for United? I don't think he's even started a game.
And guys, that's the point. He hasn't started a game. He hasn't kicked a ball. And this club, this is the structure. This is the hierarchy. This is our supposed new football director of football and co. They are going to put the pressure on two young lads that have less than 150 minutes between them. We're going to go to the lines now. Cam's coming on first. We're going to share the link for all of you to come on and have your say. Make sure you're smashing that like and share button. We want your views. We want your opinions. And I am going to put this out there as well, by the way. Liverpool fans, Tottenham fans, Chelsea fans. If West Ham beat you into the top 4 this season, I think you should deactivate your accounts in the summer. Imagine this. As bad as things are at United, imagine it's not even that, it's Moyes, it's Rice that you all said was rubbish,
and Lingard
and Jay Lings. Imagine my shock. We've got Cam who's jumping on with us right about now. Cam, what you saying, bro?
What's going on, boys? I got some time. I was listening in the background. I got some time, so I wanted to come on and kind of address some of what I've heard. I may have missed the start if you guys spoke about Jim and Fletcher, but this is it. This is where they can prove KJ wrong. If it's like the structure is actually different and changed, this is the year to do it. Because real talk, why are we even talking to Erling Haaland if like we know we're not going to be able to spend the money? Like that's where the change we need to see. This whole dragging things out throughout the whole summer. Like we knew we weren't going to spend 120 on Sancho last year, but we had to drag it out all summer anyway, right? So this is the change I want to see, is how we go about the business. Is when to step away, sure, have the meeting, but if the demands are what we're seeing, where 60 million of it goes to like Alf and then goes to Mino and then other, like, why are we even entertaining the conversation at this point? Go back in for Sancho. The price is lower. That's who we should be targeting. Get it done quickly. That's when we'll see if Jim and Fletcher are actually now at the helm. Get our deals done early, like a big team is supposed to, and then be good. I don't think we need Haaland, and I've said it a million times. Like I agree with Johnny. We don't need a striker. We're not good. Like we will not have the midfield to provide Haaland with the balls. We don't have the width to provide him with the balls. Why are we going to go get Haaland? And then he sits there and is like, I don't get the service. And then Mino starts chatting, and we're back to same.
And then we're back square one with the whole people.
On that very quickly, Borussia Dortmund have come out today and confirmed that Jadon Sancho is essentially available this summer as well. And what's interesting to me is I get sometimes you've got to play politics with the media, and clubs want to do this. Maybe we want to pretend we're not looking at him and stop. Just get the deal done. Equally, why if we now know. I think what Mino Raiola and Haaland's father have done has been very clever. They've made it's like a European tour, it's like a world. They've got like a world tour. When boxers have got a big boxing fight, they go to all these different countries and do press conferences. It's almost like they've done that, right? It's been the world tour to put their man in the shop front. They've been very open and they've gone straight to the press and they've explained the asking price that Dortmund, that Dortmund have set. The agent fees have kind of come through, but what the player salary is going to be is there. Everybody knows the cost. Everybody knows the cost of the player, and by now, everyone's going to have an understanding of the player's preference. If you're making him the number one priority, the only reason you should be doing that is if you genuinely believe the chance of signing him, if you've got the money to get that deal done. Do we have 500 grand a week in salary and 150 million euros to buy a player that isn't one of our, in my opinion, there's two more priorities of seeding and attacking on the right-hand side before that. For me, the whole thing stinks of media lies. Let's tell the United fans we're going to do it. Let's take their eye away from what we really, really need. We'll build up all this PR about Amad and about Pellistri. Oh, look, the Jimmy Garner stuff's going to increase. Oh, maybe he can come back and do a job. Mengi's been doing bits with Wayne Rooney. It's all
Terry, Lingard might be like a new signing. Lingard might be a new signing.
Yeah, that'll be the line. Lingard is going to come back. One sec, Johnny. He's going to come back and be a new signing. And then they're going to do it all. And then we're going to get to deadline day. We're going to rush through a few bit part players, sign Danny Ings, and we're all going to be sitting there going, how did this happen? It just stinks.
If like we've all got a general consensus here, right? That we all agree probably to within 90% of what signings that we need, right? And we ain't got no UEFA coaching manager, so we're not qualified like that. But we can see the holes that need plugging. So John Murtaugh and Darren Fletcher have been brought in, right, to have the intelligence and foresight to figure this out. And if they push it to Ed Woodward to go for Haaland over the other holes in the squad, I think that's just waste time. You're not doing your job properly.
That's true, Johnny. I agree, but I don't think I genuinely don't believe that's what's happening. I personally think, again, this is just Ed doing what Ed does.
There's a comment
There's
a comment here that says, Terry in the panel, the strongest negotiation position is being able to walk away. Do you not think Ed could be doing this to either like lower the cost, etc.? The problem is, I would love to believe that's true, but the problem that we have is there's no evidence that this has ever been done before with any success. So, like I say about all of this, if we land Haaland and sign Neto and bring in Rice this summer, just say we work out deals to do that, then and we get it done early and it's done well, then we can say, oh, maybe, you know what, we're all a bit wrong. Remember on the 5th of April when we were all kicking off, and Johnny came on and didn't swear for 21 minutes, which is amazing, by the way. Thank you. And we'll all go, yeah, we all got that a little bit wrong, KJ in the mud, etc. The problem is, I can't believe in that train of until I see it, bro. This is, honestly, I'm more likely to start believing in God than I am Ed Woodward running things correctly. Like, that's far-fetched, bro, like straight up.
And Terry, can I add, I think the only way we should really sign Haaland too is if there's an open admission that he wants to play for us. I don't like the fact that we're hearing he'd rather be at Real Madrid, or say if he'd rather be somewhere else. I'm tired of us going after players that would rather be somewhere else, and then we pay them to come here, which is what's going to happen because we know Mino is the best at what he does. So sure, let's just say we're the only one who can afford him, and we pay all this money. In 2 years, we already know it's going to be Haaland being pushed out of the club, and we don't need that. What Ollie did to start his, and I get it, you don't have to like Ollie, but what he's done is at least targeted players that he believes would want to be here, like a Declan Rice, for instance. That's to me, CDM. That's who you go for.
To that, what I liked about when Ronaldo left us, right? Ronaldo knew from day one where he wanted to go. He knew where he wanted to go. He didn't get pimped out across fucking Europe. He knew where he wanted to go. And I respected that. He didn't go for highest bidder. He had his dream. He knew his destiny and where he was going. And I'm not seeing that with Haaland. And if he's trying to get the biggest payday, I don't want not this controversial thing to say again. I don't want him at Man United. I want players that have their heart set on playing for that badge.
That's true.
And that's a great point. We're going to go to the phone lines now. The link's been shared on the Discord server. If you want to come on and have your say, we want to hear from you on this talking point right now. And a lot of
head out. Gotta go back to work.
All right, bro. Take care, mate. See you soon, mate. Thank you.
I want to.
One sec, bro. So a lot of people are talking about in the comments we shouldn't, it's 150 plus commission. Just to reiterate it, the rumors are that it's out of the transfer fee. That's what Haaland's father and Mino Raiola are going to get. It isn't the transfer plus that. So it's important.
That's like what Mino had with the Pogba deal, wasn't it? They got a percentage of that.
Exactly like what he's got with the Pogba deal. That's why it was so high, as an example.
But here's another reason why I'm not buying into this whole structural change and these two Donnies are going to do the job. We're already hearing reports about Juan Mata signing a 12-month extension. If this new structure was supposed to take over and be the thing, that is not happening. And that is not something that that's like, oh, guys, you need to give him time. It's a 2-year process. That's a simple decision of, Ed, we don't need Juan Mata. He's played 4 games for us this season. He needs to move on. Oh, he's got 120K a week. Let him go.
Yeah, overall, you've got City letting David Silva go, who had a good 3 years in him. He could have played at Premier League for, let's say, 2 years. Could have got another good 2 years out of David Silva. They're letting Aguero go this season. Well, let's be honest, he's got another 2 years in him.
Yeah.
And we're giving one matter. We're talking about
And this is what I mean. And the stipulation is we will give him a new contract unless there's a bid of 5 million. So that proves to me that they do not care again about the football club, and all it is about moving assets, moving players for money. Juan Mata is not worth 5 million in any month for Sundays, fam. He's not.
And this has been going on. This has been going on at Manchester United when Fergie was here. I love Evra, I love Rio, I love Carrick, I love Vidic, I love all those players. They all stayed 2, 3, 4 years too long. A proper club would have found replacements prior to them being past their best. And then you moved them out. You know, Ruud van Nistelrooy is a great example. He was still in his pomp, but he was coming to the back end of it. And there was an opportunity to move him on, different things with our attacking line as an example, and move things forward. And that was just before the Glazers really got their claws into Manchester United Football Club. They've only been there a year or so. And ever since then, we held on to certain players too long. We weren't developing the right people, as it were. And it isn't good enough. And we knew that when Fergie saying there's no value in the market. Yeah, because 20-odd million pounds for Sergio Aguero was bad spending. We're going to go to the calls now. We want you to come on and have your say. Smash that like and share button. First up on the show, we're going to have the Satan's favorite devil. What you saying, bro?
Hello, guys. You guys hear me?
Yeah, bro. What do you want to say?
Yeah, it's we never learn. You know what I mean? You have City on the other side of the table, and they've basically created the blueprint over how to.
Do me a favor. Can you do me a favor? Can you shut whatever window you've got that's making a beeping noise? You've got something. It might be the Discord.
Yeah, I think it's Discord.
Top man. Cheers.
Yeah, it's just it really angers me so much to see that, you know, blueprint was created. You go out there and you buy a couple of 40, 50, 30 million players, and you build a squad. And over time, it reciprocates and it pays for itself. But we always go for the stupid deals. And funnily enough, City always allow us to go and, you know, do the stupid deals. Whether it was Alexis, whether it was Maguire, like they happily back out and, you know, help us commit the mistake. But there's something that I wanted to ask you guys your opinion of in terms of the Haaland situation. You know, away from the whole financial disaster that it sets up to be, but. Tactically speaking, this whole thing of setting a team up around the goal poacher, around the tap-in merchant, does tend to usually, and it was brought up in a YouTube video that I checked out a couple of days ago, and it was very, very interesting. It does tend to create an opposite effect in terms of the team morale, in terms of allowing others to excel, and yes, while that goal scorer does end up excelling, the entire team as a result does tend to come short. Dortmund at the moment are not doing well.
So what you're saying is here is that you think signing Haaland could actually be detrimental to Man United. Are you making a statement here?
Yes, I think the notion of signing in a player like Haaland and it would be a terrible mistake from the manager to bring in someone like Haaland and say, I'm going to build the entire team around you. That would be detrimental to the entire squad. That will benefit Haaland, but it won't benefit us.
You know what I'll say? It's a tough one because I guess football has changed. And you might argue that goal poachers don't really exist or have a big place in football at the moment like they used to. When we brought Van Nistelrooy, we built a team around him, or we had the players around that could service him. So we had Beckham, we had Giggs, we had Scholes. He played with, well, sometimes Scholes played directly behind him, and he may have had another striker at the time as well. And Andy Cole was there at the time. I can't remember now. But Van Nistelrooy scored a lot of goals. We did win a Premier League title. Arsenal, to be fair, they went unbeaten one season, so it's hard to compete with that. But we did win one title. But that was 14, 15 years ago. Whether that's going to work now, you might argue, yeah, maybe it might be a self-gratification where the striker scores a lot of goals, but the team suffers. I don't know. I can't say for sure that it's going to be the case. I think it's just a case of poachers don't really exist in football anymore to make that complete judgment. But I don't think Haaland's a Van Nistelrooy type striker. I think he has much more to his game than a poacher in the Inzaghi mode or Van Nistelrooy mode.
And also, in terms of, you've got to look at our squad as a whole right now. We don't have the creators, the creative players to allow a player to be the sole goal scorer. We don't have enough creators to do that. So we have to make a system and play in a way where our strengths are Martial, Greenwood, Rashford, Cavani, Bruno, love scoring goals. Let's get them all scoring goals as best we can, then rather just catering towards the one thing. So I don't think even our squad doesn't suit that.
It's a fair point. Thank you, Satan's favorite devil, for coming on, having your say, mate. Really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very, very much indeed. We had a super chat here that says, would any of the panelists take Martinez due to Inter not paying their last installment for the Lukaku deal? Would you? Yeah, so £48 million is owed. If they said, listen, no money, but Martinez, would either of you take it?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'll be surprised. I think they value Martinez more at more than 48. So I feel like we'll still have to pay something on top of that.
Yeah, listen, even if you pay another 35 on top, yes. You know what I'm saying? Lautaro Martinez is a striker who's got he can score goals, he can link up play. He is a very good striker and I think there's a player there that could turn into a mold of an Aguero type of player where he's bullish, he just wants to score goals, he's hungry for the goals, and he can score all different types of goals. So
I haven't seen him outside of the two that he plays with Inter. That's the only thing. He's got a partner in Lukaku. So not that I wouldn't take him. I don't know if I've seen enough to make that kind of judgment.
I don't have an opinion because I haven't seen him play enough. A lot of people say great things about him, but I never judge a player that I haven't watched before. Nabil here says, get Basuma and Kunde or Varane, or do a swap deal for Rice with Lingard. This summer will be the same as last. Zero trust in the board or owners. There are so many options out there and so many players out there that can improve this Man United first team and this squad. Are we just going to chase that big marquee signing and not address all our problems? I actually feel like we could be more consistent with, if you sign, honestly, Sancho by himself, say we could only afford Sancho by himself, I think that's worse for us as a club than if we signed Rice, Basuma, Neto, and Jules Koundé. If we signed those four for in and around the same sort of, maybe be a little bit more, like those four collectively is better than maybe one of them and just a massive sign like Haaland or Sancho. That's what worries me. Let's go to some more calls here. Let's see what you're saying. We're going to have Saint on the line here. Saint, what you saying?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, bro. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I'm an Arsenal fan, but I think it's quite good if you hear a rival's opinion, because they'll give it without any opinion, like they won't give it emotional. So I saw your squad and I saw you guys chasing Haaland and stuff here, but let me tell you, I don't think Haaland will make as much of a big impact you guys think he will, because when I see your team, all I see is finishers. I see Rashford as a finisher, so I see Bruno Fernandes. I know he gives the assist, right? But you can tell he's a goal scorer. He is concerned with scoring goals. The only player that you guys have that is a assister is Paul Pogba. Fred, he's not good enough, and it's Paul Pogba. And with Pogba, you guys don't even know if you're going to keep him. There's been rumors of him leaving. So I know he's gonna come. He's gonna score goals. Don't get me wrong, but the impact, like, don't expect him coming to and scoring 40 goals. Like, you guys have seen him with Martial. He was criticized for not scoring enough goals. You guys got Cavani. Same thing happened. He doesn't score enough goals.
I hear you. I hear you on that. So, what do you think Man United should do?
I think firstly, what you guys need to do is you guys need to fix your center mid. So you guys need to. You guys first need to know if Pogba is staying, because if he's staying, you need a partner for Pogba. I think that Donny van de Beek signing was a panic buy. You guys did not need Donny van de Beek. I mean, you guys have him, you're not using him. So you need a center defensive mid to allow Pogba to play on. You guys need another center back. Your center backs are not good enough. You guys need another right back. I know Wan-Bissaka is good, but in terms of his, like, when he has the ball, he's not good enough. I saw Dallo the other day for AC Milan, when he came up against you guys. And I was thinking, how the hell did you guys get rid of Dallo, who was tearing off for AC Milan in that game, and keep... Mate.
He came off the bench.
Yeah, one technique. First of all, I get what you're saying, but he's on loan. So it's not like he is gone forever. Like, people forgetting He can come back. Number two, we've seen the low in the Prem, and he's also not great. Like people do this thing where they see a player go off somewhere and do okay. He hasn't been amazing for AC Milan. Let's also remember this. He hasn't been the star left back or right back. He's just been there to fill in. He's done okay over there. But when he was in the Prem, he wasn't that great either. So him coming back, I would welcome it, but I wouldn't be like desperate for it. If we sold him, I would be okay.
I think it's deeper than that as well with Man United fans. So the low was always pretty good going forward.
Yeah.
He's an awful defender. His positioning was pants. And we're already starting to see, and I don't know if it's been released, or it's a clip for later, but I watched Gary Neville today talk about why he doesn't believe Trent Alexander-Arnold will make it into the England squad. And he talks about how there was always defensive frailties, even when he was performing well. But obviously, England are never going to be as dominant as Liverpool were last year. And he talks about things, just small things, not closing the players down enough, not stopping enough crosses coming into the box, being caught out defensively too often. And for any defender, at some point, that becomes a problem. And Dalot at Manchester United had defensive deficiencies aplenty. And I know people will point out, well, AWB's been caught asleep a few times this year from crosses, etc. He has, and he's got areas to improve on. But overtly, as a defender, he's light years in front of Dalot. And for me, that's the most important element for a defender to have. So I get your point. What I wouldn't mind is someone with Dalot's ability going forward, who's very good defensively at the same time.
But even more, Terry, I wouldn't mind Dalot as a backup right back if he's happy to be on the bench. Like Telles. Telles is better defensively than Dalot, but he's not as good defensively as Luke Shaw. But he's good. He offers something different going forward. Dalot offers more going forward than Wan-Bissaka. For me, he's an option. If you have him, and if you say you still have Williams around the squad, or Tuanzebe, who can play out there, then I think you cover all bases. I don't think we need to be going out and spending the little money that the Glazers are giving us on a right back to be back up there. I really wouldn't.
I hear you. Saint Man, thank you very much for coming on, having your say. Really good call. Thank you. Joe, it's interesting as well for me. One thing about the Alex Telles deal that's really opened my eyes to something again this year is we really hype up players on the continent that we don't watch too regularly just because of what things say. Because all summer, every fan base that was looking at left backs spoke about Telles and how amazing he was. And he's come to the Prem, and I think he's been pretty good when he's played. Like, I've not watched him in a game and thought, oh, he's average. I've always felt he was comfortable in the sense of I don't feel nervous about him being on the pitch or anything at all. But it just shows that Luke Shaw, I know he's risen his game, but it's like Luke Shaw was a lot better than we all thought he was. And it took someone that we respected as the left back to come in to almost demonstrate that to us. And I feel the same thing with AWB. I see a lot of people yesterday talking about how, oh, you know what? I've had enough of him now. He isn't good enough. He makes too many mistakes. Even his offensive stuff isn't where it needs to be. I get the feeling that we could bring in another right back to challenge for his position. And we might suddenly go, oh, actually, I love AWB. The grass is not always greener on the other side.
But on top of that, Terry, he has been hung out to dry. He's been asked to take the whole right flank, both defensively and attacking wise, for himself. Luke Shaw, as good as he's been, has had Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side, who's having a stellar season. So he's not tasked with going forward and creating every single attacking move. He does a lot defensively. Marcus Rashford don't really track back. Wan-Bissaka has to do everything going forward, and we know that's the worst part of his game. If you get a proper winger who can actually dribble past a man, etc., you're going to see a better Wan-Bissaka. He's never going to be Cafu. He's never going to be Cafu and Dani Alves, but we'll see a better.
And that's the whole purpose of a team and as a squad. We need players that complement each other, so it hides our deficiencies. Like having Greenwood, I love Greenwood, but he's not a right winger. Dan James, we all know he's very, very, very limited for us. So having these kind of players out there and forcing Wan-Bissaka to do the thing he's not good at makes no sense. It's unfair on him.
Well, and Trent calls this not in a horrible way. It's not Trent's fault. Because he was so good overall for 2 years and young, the barometer got changed. And it's like, oh, I've had enough of AWB making mistakes. Guys, this is only his 3rd season as a pro. Defensive positions have always been those positions where you don't even peak till 25, 26. It's more about experience, and he'll get there in the end. He's so good for his age. It's unbelievable. But it's this I want it now mentality. Let's go to some more calls. Let's see what you're all saying out here. Next up, excuse me, we're going to have eye tests. Eye test I don't know what it says. It says eye test abandons or something like that. What are you saying?
Yeah, Terry, I changed my name after what I tested today. But yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. What's on your mind?
Listen, everyone's said the same point, so I'm gonna kind of stray away from it. I'm gonna talk about one matter, and I remember on I think Fair Sports when they posted that Aguero was leaving, and a lot of people were outraged, saying he should stay for longer. And I wrote a comment under it on the community tab, and I said, in the modern game, there's no time for sentiment. Ruthless clubs or big clubs will move them on straight away. Once you get to that age, they will move you on, regardless of how good you are, how old you are, what kind of wages you're on. They will move you on. And I think with Juan Mata, he has to leave. If you give him a new contract, what's the point of it? There's no point of it.
And Matic is already here until 2023.
But there is a point. And it's the thing, there is a point. The point, and it's not a good point. The point is we need bodies in the squad. He can come in and play a game or two. Or it's 3-2 now. Fabio Silva actually just scored. A very good goal as well. 3-2. Oh, West Ham going to throw it away. And they're going to
They probably will. I'm not going to lie.
That's going to be interesting as that game closes. We're here.
They're gone.
I think it's being done because it's a body. It's a body. It's a cheaper option than signing somebody new. Matter, of course, is happy to take the paycheck. Like he's probably thinking, brother, I'm past my best. I'm getting old. All I do is spend all my time blogging, right? And I don't even know if blog exists anymore, but it's like he's just getting paid for doing nothing, and he's there. He's there in case of 2 or 3 injuries. It's just because they don't care about the club, mate. And if that by some miraculous, what they're probably upset about, the board, is that like the money's falling out of the Chinese game because they're like, let's re-sign our trash and try and sell them to China for big money, right? They're hoping for some 20 mil to come in for someone like Juan Mata. That's over. That's gone. That bubble's burst. It's just terrible. The football club is run like a crock of shit.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, I've heard a lot of people say, obviously Fred. I don't think Fred will be moved on this summer, but I think there would be a replacement. And I've heard people say, we need to get this player and that player. I think that improves your system, if you understand what I mean. I think if you look at the way United play, I think Fred's the player that plays on a half turn and sees Rashford running and he plays that through ball. I think you need that player that's press resistant, that goes on a half turn, that feeds Rashford, if you understand what I mean.
Is there anybody?
Wait. Are you saying that Fred is that player, or we need a player?
No,
to
you need a
replace
replacement
Fred?
for him.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So who have you got in mind? Who would you like to come in and play in that role?
I'm an Arsenal passer. I don't know. I'm fucking my own club.
Okay. Listen, thanks for phoning up the show, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very, very much.
Sorry, what did
is it 3-3?
No,
I'm watching it live. It can't be.
So everyone's talking about Neto.
Oh, the ball he played. It was a great.
The ball he played. He was quality.
Well, what did I just say earlier that made?
He's talking about. I think it was the whole Hazard, De Bruyne conversation.
What he basically said, he called KDB a bum and said if it wasn't for KDB, Eden Hazard would have won a World Cup. Hang on. Oh, it blazed over the bar. Nearly 3-3. Let's do some more calls here. Smash that like button, please. Share this stream on everywhere you can. Social media, your WhatsApp groups, your Facebook pages. Get it done. We're going to go to Hawk next on the show. Hawk, welcome to the terrace. Big Tuanzebe fan, I assume. What you saying, mate? Can't hear you.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi. So about the Greenwood thing is, I don't think we need Haaland because Greenwood in the next few years, he could be like not Haaland level because Haaland's a different beast, but he could be a top class number 9 because we saw it yesterday. He got a good goal that was scrambling around the box and he just headed it in, and that's the thing. But and also if we do get Haaland, then we won't be able to like get chances for him because we've got McTominay and Fred in midfield. We won't create chances for him.
I love how we've made those two players just one player now. Like,
in fairness, I'm going to say this to all the youngsters doing it. This was going on 10 years ago on Twitter when I remember when Hernandez and Welbeck were playing together and people were calling it like I can't remember what the combination was.
Hernandez or something.
And Beck and all this sort of stuff. It's been around for a while. The youngsters just think they invented it. No, it was us. But there we go. Hawk, thank you for calling in, mate, and having your say. And I'm making right. It's just we need that creativity at the club. Onzo is on the show next. Onzo, welcome to the terrace. What you saying?
Yes, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, bro. What's in your mind?
Right, cool. Yeah. So I was just listening and literally I was just deep in like. I understand why United might want to get Haaland. Obviously, he's the best striker, but I don't know. Like, I was even thinking, like, how Greenwood's like 19. Greenwood may not be the striker that everyone thinks he might play, because when Rashford jumped to the scene, he was playing striker. Everyone thought he was going to be a striker. Within like 2 to 3 years, he became a left winger. So, literally, like, no one knows. Like, I think what Oli might be thinking is that maybe. He might want to make Greenwood as a right winger, then Martial could be more the assist type of player rather than the goal scorer. And
question for you, buddy, is do you think Mason Greenwood's got what it takes to become a leading number 9 at a top 4 club in the Prem?
So can you answer that question one more time, please?
Right. Do you think Mason Greenwood has what it takes to become a leading striker at a top 4 team in the Prem?
I think he has the ability. But that's the thing. He has the ability to be a top striker. But he's so techy. He has the ability to be a good right winger as well. Because, like I said, literally anything can happen within the next 2 years, innit? So it's kind of hard to like. Because I've just been hearing everyone say, "Oh, Greenwood will play striker. Greenwood will play striker." But like even yesterday when I was watching him play, like he's good enough to play right wing. I think. The main problem is literally that defense, because Pep, you can see it from Man City and you can see it from Liverpool last season. Liverpool fixed up their defense, yeah, they won the league. City, they haven't even played with a proper striker, and they're about to win the league. Why? Because they fixed up the defense. If you buy a proper centre back, you buy a CDM, then maybe Haaland maybe I'll agree with United playing with buying Haaland, but paying for 120 mil and then him most likely leave within the next 2-3 seasons will be a sticky one for United. So yeah,
you know what I'd say about the whole Greenwood striker thing. For me, I think Greenwood is that good. He can be whatever he wants to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Solskjaer speaks about it when he talks about basically. Greenwood needs to kind of show the desire to be the striker. So if he wants to learn to head the ball, then you can learn. Get some extra training. If you want to learn the movement, there's players here, whether it's coaches, ex-players, Cavani spoke about that, learning how to be that striker. Greenwood can be the number 9 if he wants to truly be the number 9. I don't think Martial. I think he's got the natural ability to be that number 9.
If you look at the winner, he scored yesterday. That was almost identical to what happened with Cavani against Southampton. So you can clearly see that he's learning, that he's trying to become a number 9. When he plays down the middle, his hold-up play is very good. He makes runs in behind. So I personally believe that Mason Greenwood, his natural instincts, his natural best attributes are for the number 9 role, and he's wasted out wide.
I understand that. I think what's also important to remember is go back to one of the best developers of youth in the Prem ever, and that's Sir Alex Ferguson. He would often play central defenders in midfield positions. He'd take central defenders and play them in the wide position, strikers out wide, so they can learn. And there's an element of learning what it takes to play on the right, to help you when you're in that central role yourself, to know what they're going to do, what's the next move, as an example, as you're nurturing yourself and learning how to play the game. Because I think you've got to learn. It's almost like your apprenticeship is being done in those other positions. And Fabio Silva just scored for Wolves. He's really struggled in the Prem this year because the speed, the power is different, but he's been stuck straight into that central striker role. And they didn't want to do that with him. They wanted Jimenez was meant to be the guy, and he would have a bit part position. He'd probably come on in games and play off of Jimenez, and it's not been able to happen. And he's really, really lost. And that can be dangerous for a player.
Look at the person that Green was compared to most, Robin van Persie. In his early years at Arsenal, he was playing wide right, wide left. It was only after Henry left, and then when they finally said, yeah, obviously he could string a few games together, not being injured, but there was Adebayor, there was Nicholas Bentner, and he was still playing wide right, wide left. Then he became that number 9 because, yeah, you learn the game, and he's got the game where he can be effective out wide. You will never put a Nicholas Bentner or Adebayor out wide because they're ineffective out there. They need to be within the width of the box. And if you look at the way that Greenwood plays, similar to Van Persie, I don't think it's doing him any harm playing out wide, but I want that to be a development process to move him.
Yeah, definitely, because I can see why he's out there. Because if you throw him in there right now, the difference between him and Haaland, I don't think it's actually ability. You could argue that Mason Greenwood, in terms of football ability, he's got more than Haaland. But Haaland's built like a man. You know what I mean? He's built like a truck. Mason Greenwood has still got time and space to fill out. And if you put him in the striker role all the time now, he's going to get battered around. He's going to get hit.
And maybe
that might be and he might use confidence. That might be damaging to his body as a whole. Whereas out wide, you can relax a bit.
Yeah, of course. And you got to take your time with it. Nurture them, give them their apprentice, let them learn, what it is they need to do. Plus, not every striker has to necessarily play straight through the middle. It's about the team having a system and creativity. Our other problem is the imbalance, because Rashford plays on the left, as a goal-scoring inside forward. And Greenwood is a goal-scoring inside forward. And there's no creativity centrally, barring Bruno Fernandes. So if you look at like Thierry Henry, he played off the left-hand side, and he did create a lot of goals, but he was a goal scorer from the right. Why? Because there was creativity from the Lundbergs and of this world because of the right-hand side. He was on the left, and it come from the right. If we had a Neto on the left who was highly creative, or a Grealish, maybe you could say you might then be able to work a system where you use Greenwood and Haaland together. Say we could buy him. This is hypothetical. Where one plays central, the other one starts on the right, but one's cutting in. There are multiple ways to skin a cat here, but it's about
even the Van Persie that I mentioned. He had Cesc, Nasri, Haleb, Rosicky. So there was 2 goal scorers, Van Persie and whether it's Bentner. I mean, not goal scorers, he's rubbish. But and a Bayor, but you had everyone else was creators.
And Man United, it's the other way around. Most of our players are goal scorers. Yeah. And there is a lack of creativity. So we've got all these guns and barely any bullets. Like that's the way it's mad. It's annoying. Listen, Onzo, thank you for coming on the show and having your say. Appreciate it, bro. Next up, we have Hakeem. Hakeem, welcome back to the terrace. What you saying?
How's it going, guys? Good?
Yeah, good. What's your point? What do you want to say, mate?
Yeah. I think KJ touched on it right at the end there. He was saying the difference between Greenwood and Haaland right now is Haaland's a physical specimen. And the memes going around him being built in a lab and stuff like that. So that's really, to me, the difference. And that's kind of why I think the 2 biggest areas of concern at the club right now is in midfield and on the right wing. Because in my opinion, I think we have 2 serviceable strikers, but it's so imbalanced, especially on the right. So I can't blame Wan-Bissaka. I can't blame Greenwood, who is potentially a striker playing out wide. And then in midfield, we don't retain the ball very well. So those are issues where I'm just like, those are bigger issues than Haaland. Yes. Haaland's going to get more half chances. He's going to snap up more half chances. But at some point, he's going to look like the way Cavani looked yesterday, and he's going to look the way that Martial looked.
It's interesting, right? And that's why it's very hard in the cold light of day, whether it's the manager or whether it's any individual player, sometimes be too hard on them, because there is imbalance. It's like, I haven't got a bad car just because I've got a flat tire, but I've got a flat tire, so it doesn't matter how good my car is, it's going to drive crap. You have the best car in the world, if your tire's flat, it ain't a good drive, right? And that's our problem. We've got a flat tire. We've got 2, really. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we've got problems that stop you from enjoying things from working, or at the very least, being able to experience it fully and really know what the problem is. If we bought a proper CDM, another creative attacking player, we've got someone on the right hand side and a really good goal scorer. We had a world-class centre back to go back next to Maguire, and certain players still weren't up in their game, and the manager still wasn't getting the results we want. You would have a categoric answer about maybe what the problems are. But the issue we always have is there's still always that, I get the manager struggling, but he hasn't got these three positions. And we have said that, in fairness, to every single manager that has come in and managed since Fergie, is there are these holes, which is why there needs to be a club plan so that you can fix these holes irrespective of who the manager is. Akeem, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate that. We do. Still 3-2 in the game, 9 minutes left. West Ham on the brink of going into fourth with 8 games to go. This is just
the players are dropping like flies, though, man.
Yeah,
Rice is
dropping
out.
like flies.
Antonio's gone out. Who's gone down just now? Suchek?
Yeah, I think it was Suchek's just walking off the pitch now.
So hopefully he can survive.
Those 3 players miss a handful of games. There's no way they can make it.
And literally, if Jesse Lingard goes, I hope he doesn't, but if he does, that is it.
Jesse Lingard, man, just 6 goals in 8 games for him. Plus, I think he's got at least 4 or 5 assists. It's amazing. You know what? I don't want to overgas him. I'm happy for him, but I did look at it again, and I'm like, when Lingard's got space and time, he's brilliant. It's when there isn't space and time, he's not so good. Like, it's just one of them.
And that's the thing. It was people. I've seen in the comments already today. People saying, "Bring Lingard back. Bring him back. He needs time. He needs a chance." Like,
yeah, he needs time. Time on the ball is what he needs.
Yeah, you see, time on the ball. Like, we've seen it. We've seen this multiple times already. Jesse Lingard, as much as I love him as a player and as a person, he is not built for Manchester United. His play style does not suit playing for a big team. He needs a lot of space. He needs a lot of time. He needs a lot of confidence to do what he does. He doesn't get that at Manchester United. So to stall his career even further than he already has, and we already have him being at United, to do that because of, but look at the form he showed in the team, playing completely different football to us in a completely different kind of stature of club, is unfair. It's unfair. It's unfair on him. Let him go.
I tell you who he would have been good with: Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yes.
Listen, you know what's mad about it as well, right? Yeah, so he now has 6 goals and 4 assists, so 10 goal contributions in 8 games for West Ham since he signed. But you know what stands out to me as well? You know, so if Jesse Lingard had never played for Man United and was doing well for West Ham, and you said, we should sign him, people would say, yeah, but how would he cope at a top 6 club against a low block? Could he do it under the pressure? People would reject it because they say, why are we signing West Ham play? Like, they wouldn't be happy with it. So the reverse on it is, we know that he hasn't been able to deliver in a Man United shirt, right? So why does it, I'm happy for him, but it's the same as any player that leaves the club. And I know he hasn't been sold. I'm really happy that Smalling's done well. I'm really happy that Delo seemingly doing well. I would have loved for Welbeck to have had a decent career away from United, if that made sense. We should have always got more than £16 million for that guy. I was so happy to see Chicharito score all them goals once for Bayern Leverkusen, but we just know that they just weren't good enough overall as players for Man United, and we shouldn't be trying to rewrite history just because they have Lingard could go 6 months next season without scoring a goal, and then what are we going to say? You know, it's one of them ones. Look at Chris Smalling. Like, he's had a bang average year, I believe, this year, injured a lot as well. Suddenly, no one's talking about that being a mistake to let him go because it obviously doesn't fit the narrative massively. Let's get next on the show. We're going to have Steez E94. Welcome to the show, mate. What are you saying?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Yeah, very. How you doing?
Where are you from?
Joey Tribbiani from New York City, clearly. How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Don't chat me up on the football terrace.
All right, so the whole thing with Haaland I want to talk about is that, obviously Haaland is Haaland. Like, everybody at Manchester United wants to get him, but I just don't think that unless we can sell Martial to get some money that we're going to put this 150 million for Haaland. It's not worth it because our squad needs so much more work. I'm a huge advocate for a right winger. We need a right winger for sure. We need a right winger. It's been like 10 years, and that right hand side is just like getting absolutely destroyed. By not having a right winger, it's killing the rest of the team. We also need the defensive mid and the center back. So the only way that I think that we could get Haaland is if Martial goes, which I don't know. A lot of there's some United fans that they don't want Martial to go. Me personally,
no, no.
wait, hold on. Me personally, I like Martial, right? But I just think as a true number 9, I don't think he has it.
Do you know what, bro? Do you know what, bro?
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. Do you know the problem is with selling Martial? Selling Martial and bringing in Haaland improves our number 9 positioning.
Right.
It doesn't improve the overall strength of our squad because still after Haaland, there's nothing.
Right.
And that's my issue with this. We've got a sell to buy approach. Is you're not taking a step forward or backwards. You just can't. You're almost remaining on a level playing field. You might improve one particular position, but that's why Bruno Fernandes looks exhausted because yes, Pereira and Lingard have gone out, and Bruno's come in. You could argue Donny should have got a bit more game time, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn there. But then some people say he's an 8, not a 10 anyway, so that doesn't actually count. But he's then being used too much because there's nothing behind him. There's no alternative for him as an example. And I think for me, ideally, what we should be looking to do as a club, but we won't, is sign a Haaland or a Sancho, but you keep Anthony Martial at least for a year or so to let them all compete and see who comes out on top. And then maybe you say, okay, Martial wants to leave, boom, you go out and Neto comes in. But you've got to try and keep that strength in depth. You want to look at your bench and go, look at that. You want the manager not knowing who he can pick. That's when you're at their best. Go back to all Fergie's best years. Look at benches. Just go back and look at random games and look who was on our damn bench half the time. That team was good enough to win the game. And that's why City is so strong. It's why Bayern Munich is so strong. It's why Barca and Real Madrid always dominate in Spain. The strength in depth is important. So I understand your point. That's how we're going to operate. We will sell someone like Pogba or Martial and fund another big signing. But in the cold light of day, we're not moving forward. We're not, we're just not. We're not growing overall. But listen, mate, appreciate your call. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Were you shouting, oh no, because Lingard picked up a knock?
Yeah. I saw it happen. I was like, oh, what have I done? Yeah. What have I done?
you know the issue with the Martial out, Haaland in. If they were both the same value, and you're saying, all right, let's get rid of Martial and get in Haaland, or Martial, you say cool, because at least the funds are unaffected, and you can still go out and strengthen the squad. The issue is if Martial goes out to get a Haaland in, as you said, the squad doesn't improve. And you have to pay more to get Haaland. So where's the rest of the money to improve the squad? As you said, the first 11 gets better, 100%, but the squad remains exactly the same. It's just because when Haaland's not available, who are you bringing on? What?
Yeah, it's just creating another issue for ourselves, and we've done that for too many years now. Like you want to get. Someone like Martial as a player that is good enough to at least be on the bench, you know what I mean? So just to get rid of him because you don't like him, you think he's a statue, you think he's static, whatever you think of Martial, just to get rid of him for that reason, just to bring in another striker. It's like, all right, cool. You're not helping the cause. And I wish Indiana was here today actually, because a lot of the callers have been saying we don't need a striker, we need like a winger. So I'll be very interested to see what he has to say if he's finally turned around in the whole.
I hear that point. I think essentially what we do as a club, we rob Peter to pay Paul. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't really improve us. We need to be very, very. And that's even the same with spending. Now, I don't look at net spend as a financial key point because it doesn't exist. But the facts are that in some summers where it looks like we've spent big, we have had stars leave at the same time. So the overall strength in the squad hasn't improved. And until we do that in the right way, it's never going to benefit us. You saw what happened last year with City. They had a summer where they didn't bring in as much quality as they had leave, and they had a regression because that's what it would happen to anybody. This year, Liverpool's is a little different. They signed some players. Jota's worked. None of their other signings. I mean, that Tsimikas, or whatever his name is, Tsimikas. Not seen him kick a ball, to be honest with you, all season. I think I've seen him off the bench a few times, so he's done nothing. But then with the injuries, the overall squad just lacked. And suddenly, lo and behold, the implemented system that's clear and the patterns that you see every week stop working. And I always remember when Ollie was being attacked the season before, it was like, even when Liverpool play their youth players, you still see the system and pattern. See, a great manager makes any team sort of work. And I sort of looked at it and thought, fuck off. Like, just shit. Like, you don't just hear that. You're like, come on, man. That's absolute baloney. It was one game as an example. But listen, everyone who's tuned in this evening, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Back tomorrow morning. Back tomorrow at 5. previewing the other two Champions League semi-finals. Anita's on amongst a few others. Obviously looking at Chelsea in a big way in that game. And then, of course, the match reaction show will be live after the Champions League games. And I'm so excited about them. What's your head saying for tomorrow's results? Liverpool, Madrid, and City Dortmund. What are we saying?
Let me just clarify. Is the Liverpool game, is that in Madrid or is it a neutral venue? Do you know?
I don't know, actually. I didn't look.
If it's in Madrid, I'll say Madrid 2-1. If it's a neutral venue, I'll go 1-1. I'll go 1-1.
Yeah,
Man City win. Man City win.
Yeah, Man City's gonna win, and then I'm saying draw for Real Madrid and Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Liverpool are going to beat Madrid. I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going 2-2 in the City Dortmund game. I've got a little feeling there could be another Man City sort of like brain fart sort of moment where it's like we don't normally get past it. And by the way, I think Dortmund are going to create like 3 chances and score at least 2 of them. Haaland's going to boom, and it's all about. He's just could. I'd love him to do it. I'd do a celebration with checkbook or something because he's going to increase.
I can see a 4-2 City. Like, but Dortmund will just keep going forward. But yeah, their defense is a bit dodgy.
I can see Haaland. I personally can see Haaland dropping a stinker. I don't know why he would. I don't know why he would drop a stinker against a Man City, but I personally think he will. And maybe see Viola in the corner of the screen, just being like, "Good."
I think he's such an arrogant so-and-so. I think he'd want to. I think if he scored an hat-trick and won the game 3-0. He'd walk past Pep and say, "Get the checkbook out, mate." Like, he's that kind of player. I think he'd want to make that point, just to say, "I can win you this trophy that you're longing for, Baldy." Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye.